So this is the second video in a three-part series on practicing scales and just different ways to approach your scales. So watch the video for free and apply all the ideas to whatever scales you're working on, whether it's the one I'm going to use or just a simple C major scale if you want. Just apply those ideas. But for today, I'm using the example number 12 from my book, 20 Favorite Exercises, and there's a link for that ebook underneath the video. So today's topic is rhythmic vitality. The last video we talked about destination points in scales, but today we're talking about rhythmic vitality. So playing your scales with different rhythms to make your hands versatile and dexterous, but also the pieces that you play in music use different rhythms. And so practicing all your scales with only one rhythm all the time might not be preparing you for the actual repertoire that you're going to play. So you can invent endless amounts of variations on what I'm going to talk about today, but I'm going to show you 4 small examples. So let me just show you those first. And then I'll guide you through how to work on each one. So the first example, we're going to use a dotted 8th note followed by a 16th note. Now I'm going to be using this scale, but you can use just a first position C scale or whatever scale you like. So we're going to be going, if I counted it out for you, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, and so a dotted 8th followed by a 16th note. So practicing it in different rhythms causes different kinds of issues at different parts of the scale. So in this one, it doesn't cause too many problems in the scale because the shift, for example, occurs after a long note, so that's helpful. But exercise number 2, we're going to do a 16th note followed by an 8th note. So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Now the issue with this one is that the fast rhythm, the 16th note, happens during the shift. So it makes the shift much more difficult. Now you might say, like, why are you trying to make scales more difficult for me to play? And the answer is that you need to challenge yourself. If you're just practicing your scales up and down every day and just kind of hoping that they're going to get better and better, they might get a little bit better, but challenging yourself and giving yourself these challenges will really speed up your progress. So I've only notated it ascending in the book, but you can practice it descending as well. So that one makes the shift very difficult because it makes that shift a lot faster, especially at faster speeds. You see how fast I had to shift there? It was like, it has to be a really rapid shift. So it created a challenge for me. And if I'd really messed it up, then it would give me something to work on. If I was going, and then I messed up the shift, then I know I have something to work on. I can get the metronome out and start keeping track of my metronome speeds to see at what speed I can do it confidently, and then try to raise that, of course. There's all sorts of ways to challenge yourself. Of course, you can practice all your scales in a variety of ways. So like you can do 8th notes. You could do triplets, which are the best because you end up putting an accent on a different finger. Like if you start with I, it goes I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, triplet, triplet. So always practice like in groups of 2, groups of 3, and groups of 4. So groups of 2 would be here, 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 here. Those are the accents. Groups of 3, here, 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 here. Groups of 4 would be here, 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 here. You know, You can set the metronome to be on either the eighth note or you can set it to the quarter note and practice eighth notes against it, or triplets, 16th notes. It's a good idea in general. Another thing you can do is you can change the pattern up. So number 3 in my book goes like this. It's in triplets, so 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Those kinds of patterns are great because they kind of bust you out of just like going from one note to the next, like from one octave to the next octave, which actually rarely occurs in music, right? Like you rarely get like a 2-octave scale in your music. You just get little tidbits of scales, right? Like little tiny rising lines that have variation in them. So practicing a little bit of variation like that, practicing some variation challenges your mind and challenges your fingers and the synchronization of your fingers. So that's really important. Number 4 in my book here, it tries to get you to put the scale into a different context, so different speeds at different times. So we're going to do 2 eighth notes, then 16ths, 2 eighth notes. So let me do it. So number 4. Especially at faster speeds, it creates little like speed bursts, right? It's actually kind of tricky. Like I noticed even in my playing there, I don't know if you noticed it, but there's like a little bit ragged in the middle area of the scale descending when I had the fast notes. I could feel it, like something wasn't as smooth as when it was ascending. So then I know I have to work on that. I have to make sure I can do it really comfortably and really smoothly, and not just to the point where it sounds good, because it might have sounded okay on the video, but like to the point where I know that I'm smoothly going through it and I'm working my way through it effortlessly, rather than knowing that there's something holding me back there. Because as I turn up the speed on the metronome, that spot that gave me trouble will be the spot that gives me trouble at faster speeds. So you have to keep an eye on that. You could invent so many different combinations of rhythms for your scales, but the main point is don't just practice them in one way. Challenge yourself by setting different types of rhythms to your scales. This will help you become a versatile player and a player who's ready for repertoire.